All right, just a quick video here on the Pioneer 620. I just got done putting in a new crank seal on the clutch side. I put one in previously about a week ago and I screwed it up. It drove it in straight, but the oil seal part itself got snagged on this little stepped shoulder area here, and it pulled it out on one spot, so it pulled it up. So the seal was shot, so I had to pull it back out. That's this guy here. He was a casualty of my error. But yeah, like the seal was going on nice and straight, and then it pulled this up because it got snagged on that because it got a lot bigger all of a sudden and it couldn't go over. I put a bunch of oil and grease on it, but it didn't work. So this time what I did is I tried using a film negative. So I just used a little film negative from some old photos in the basement there, and I put a bunch of oil on it, a bunch of grease. I put oil and grease all over this thing, oil and grease on the inside, oil all over the seal, the oil part, the rubber part. I lubed everything up as much as I could. And then what I did is I jammed this in between the seal, like I rolled it up and put it in between the seal there. And then I lowered the seal down. And then I made sure this part went over the stepped part, a little bit at least, a little bit of the way. And then I got the seal seated here, and then I started to drive it in. It was a little tricky because this when it's sitting on that step shoulder part, it kind of wants to flare out and it kind of pushes the seal up. So you're kind of fighting that at first till you get it drove into the bore a little bit there. But I had to use I went to the store, I didn't have one big enough. I got a 1 1/16 inch socket deep well, and that fit perfect right over the crank. I taped off the threads because I didn't want to gouge them up. But you can see when you're first driving it, it's fine. But once you get close, it's basically coming in there. So, but yeah, this worked perfect. I know there's not many people with Pioneer 620s, but if you're doing this, this is a perfect socket for it. And then I just used this dead blow hammer, just kind of tapped it in. It doesn't bounce, you know, it just kind of boom, hits it. So, yeah. So I just drove it in, and the key is you got to make sure it's straight. So I just kind of tapped it in, kept checking it. A couple of times I was getting a little too deep here, so I tap it more here, got it straight again, kept hitting it down. Just got to kind of keep making sure it's straight. And then I drove it down a little bit further. This might be a little further than it was before, but the bearings are way down in there, so it'll be all right. But I think it was about 8 millimeters down in the board before. It might be 8 or 9 now, so whatever, it's fine. But yeah, that stepped part there is for the clutch. So here's your clutch here. This washer goes right here and rides there, and then your clutch housing rides on that. So it's not going to be able to be tapered like the flywheel side, you know. So anyway, so that's how I did that. I mean, I think there's other methods of doing it. I think some guys say you can cut up a beer can or a pop can and fold it around and stuff. That works. I've heard like just aluminum foil will work. Electrical tape wrapped around a little bit. Whatever you can do to kind of like taper this so it's not just a boom, a big sudden step there for that seal, because it's kind of hard for it to go over that without getting snagged. So anyway, I got the seal on. It looks like it's even. I think I'm going to be done driving it in. I don't want to go much further. It looks like it's pretty even all around, and I don't see where the seal has popped up anywhere. It looks like it's fully seated everywhere this time. Last time I had a big chunk bloop, popped out there. Like, oh man. So that was into that seal. So anyway, that's how I got the seal in. It's a little trick. Might help some people, I don't know. Using the film negative. It worked good. It didn't fall apart. It's actually really thin. Works perfect. You just got to cut the right size so you can roll it around and fit it on the crankshaft there. But you want to put that inside your seal first when you do it. So roll it up and then put it inside the seal and then put it over the crankshaft. And then you can kind of eyeball how far down you need it to cover this area, because when you drive it down, it's going to go down a little bit further too. And then you just start tapping it in and keep it even and straight. And then just, if you lube everything up, it should go in. So anyway, that's that. I'm going to flip this thing over and I'm going to do a pressure test now and see if it holds air. Hopefully it does. If not, then I got to figure that out, I guess. So, all right, anyway, that's it for now. See ya.